Hey there, crafty friends. Suzanne here in the studio today with a fun video. This is going to be a video to show you how to get 6 pages, 3 double page layouts out of this little box. This is the Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin, which is their subscription service for cards. And I will put a link to that in my description below. And they gave us each one of these free in our Stampin' Up! Starter Kit. And this one is called All the Best. Well, this past weekend I was going to work on this and do the cards, but then I happened to come across a great video. And it was done by Andrea Sherman, and she is over at Girl Plus Paper, and I will link her video as well. She opened up her kit and showed everything, and then she went ahead and she showed you how to do a double page layout from this. Well, with her permission, she's allowed me to go ahead and show you my version of that. And then also, because she had done such a good job, she really inspired me to do 2 more. So I pretty much used up all the contents of my kit. Let me show you what I have left. I still have the Stampin' Spot. I didn't actually do any stamping. Here is the stamp set. I had 1 card front and 1 complete card left. A few gems, and 1 envelope. I should have had 2 envelopes, but I made a little boo-boo when I was cutting on one of them. And then they had this nice plastic card case that you could store your cards in or give them as a really pretty gift. In fact, there was even a belly band to go around that box. We'll see if you can spot it when you look at my layouts, shall we? Okay. Okay, here is the one that I did like Andrea. The only big difference from hers to mine is that she had used gray cardstock here. Because I was a Stampin' Up! Hobby demo back before I was a Close to My Heart maker, I still have some of their cardstock left. And this is Old Olive, a color that goes way, way back with them. And it's a really good green. Alrighty, so this is pretty much done as she did it. And really one of the game-changing things about that really clicked in my head about this was, one, is that you can just think of those envelopes as paper, and she just cut off the flaps and she put them down this way. Another good tip she had is on the cards, when you've got a score line, if you take your bone folder on the back of that and kind of press out the score, it is a lot less visible. So let me show you close-ups of the clusters. Just a really pretty layout. I did these on Saturday morning, and then I went back on Sunday morning to see if I wanted to actually do any stamping since they had given us a stamp set. But I really decided that none of them needed it. Okay, so thank you, Andrea, for that and for inspiring me to keep going. Here's my next one. I think this turned out really pretty as well. Here I am using Stampin' Up's Boho Blue, which is a more recent color. And then I have accented it with a piece of Close to My Heart's Frost. This was a really pretty baby blue color that they just had a limited amount of because it was going to be in a color they were introducing in the future, but then after the decision was made to close, they just clearanced what they had on hand, and I was lucky enough to grab some. I love the soft baby blue, and it works nicely because of the blue variegation in this card front. So here again, you can see I just split a card. So these are going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So then I took this other card front, which is just half the card, and then I cut it down to be 4 1/4 as well. And then I wanted to put this gold die cut in the middle of it. And this is the element that is the same across all 3 layouts. I made sure all 3 of them use that same journal box. Adds a little continuity and consistency. Alrighty, then over here, I know what I'm going to use this layout for. We went to a charity event within the last week, and we got a tram tour of these beautiful gardens. So I have lots of pretty outside pictures. And I also have an invitation that's 5x7. So I wanted to make this pocket. And as you can see, this is really basically an envelope. Of course, I had to cut it off and flip this over since this is the front of the envelope and this would be the back. So I kind of reconstituted the envelope and then added a photo mat on the front, allowing you to still be able to see the pretty flower. And then I repeated that over here with 2 more envelope fronts, again, seeing the flower. I also tucked this in here. As you can see here across the top, I have this band. This was also cut from one of the cards. I should give you that little tip. Okay, this is going to be about 10 inches, and I need 12 because this was 7 and this was 5. So the way I did that is I got my 7 inches here first, and then I still had enough to get the 5 here. And then I just tucked the lighter part back in the corner, but it works really nicely with this. Over here, this overlapping stripe as well as this are cut from that belly band that they gave us. And this right here actually says "for you," and I've hid it by putting a flower there. And I think that's going to look great because my invitation is going to go right there, and it's going to flow perfectly. This would be a great place for a title if I want to add one. Let's see, as far as photo mats, since I had the green here, I wanted to do one here and one here. So these are 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then I did this one in boho blue to offset here. Okay, I guess I could have even used another one of the other half of this, but since I had cardstock, I just went ahead and used the cardstock. So let's look at some of those. This is really cute. I'm pretty sure that this might be the rest of a half circle element here that I've cut. On this page also, since I used some scraps, I went ahead and cut a couple of tabs from punches in my stash. So that's 2 of 3. I think the last one, which of course at that point I was working with leftovers and scraps, might have turned out to be my favorite. And I think that's because of these show-stopping elements here. Those immediately catch your attention, and it's a good way to lead your eye in and across the layout and back out. So here, as you can see, I used more envelope flaps. I really like that these had that soft curve to them. That works well with the circles. And then I made sure that this curve hit right here where these 2 papers meet. That was the most aesthetically pleasing, I thought. And then I had the circle die cuts, and then I punched a 2 1/4 inch circle also out of this. This is crushed curry, another Stampin' Up! Color. And then we have Old Olive for the band here. And then we have a flower here as well as this. At the bottom, this is where those envelopes came in handy again. I cut the flower from them, from 4 of those. And then I still had some of these cards left, so I cut that into each front and back in half and trimmed them at the top. I believe this is maybe 4 inches high, 4 1/4. And then these gold die cut cards, I actually sliced those right between the 2, and I think this is maybe 1 1/4. So these are slightly varying sizes across here, but they still have that continuity of look to them. And then I sprinkled the flowers across, pop dotting those with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. And then over here again, we have another of the half circle sort of wreaths. And then this little flower is actually part of this one. In fact, even the second little leaf here I cut off of that, and then it's just sticking up into the center. So I think those turned out really cute, if I do say so myself. And again, we have the journaling box that matches the others. Here, the other half of the final journaling box I had, I just cut it in half and sort of used it as tabs. So there you have it. I feel like I got a really good use out of the Paper Pumpkin card kit, because you know me, I much prefer scrapbook kits over card kits, and I want to really thank Andrea, not only for getting me started with hers, but for really driving home to me is to think of all paper, whether it's an envelope or something else, as just paper for scrapbooking. Okay, as always, I appreciate your time and attention. Bye for a bit.